Hello and welcome to Claire's World. I am Claire, and today I would like to share with you more of the information I've received from a 25th dimension during my last QHHT Hypnosis session. I'll be reading from a transcript of the session, and when I refer to Lorrayne, I'm speaking of my practitioner who's asking me questions I've prepared in advance of the session. And when I refer to me, I'm speaking of myself under hypnosis, which means the answers are coming from 25th. Before I jump in, I wanted to thank you as always for subscribing, liking, and commenting on this video. All right, let's get started. Lorrayne. So Ana Pereira asks, I'm originally from Brazil and there are a lot of spiritualists there. Can the 25th talk about Allan Kardec? I don't know how you pronounce this name. It's K-A-R-D-E-C, the French founder of Spiritism. The usual questions like, is he from the light? If yes, are the books infiltrated? A lot of them are Freemasons. Why? Me. So yeah, so Claire is not familiar with this person. Claire is not familiar with Spiritism, and she refused on purpose to research it before we give this answer, because she just wanted to not have an opinion. But basically we're telling her, yeah, he's not of the light. And Spiritism also is a matrix belief. It's a matrix sort of spirituality, just like New Age spirituality, which means that, again, it's infiltrated. But either way, he wasn't of the light, so it was never meant to be of the light, which does not mean that everybody who believes in it is of the dark, okay? We always make this distinction. We are simply here talking about the original intention when something is started. And so the books, of course, basically they're matrix beliefs. So again, there will be explanations as to how the world works according to what we like to believe at game level, which is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But then again, no surprise, and that's why she brought it up, that all the people are Freemasons. I mean, we know even from a 3D perspective, Freemasons is a dark institution. Now, the people that become Freemasons, very low levels, they might not know. Again, just like when Clea joined the bank, she wasn't thinking, oh, I'm going to be in the belly of the dragon here. This is the big bad bank. She was thinking, yeah, it's a career in finance, no more than that. And so these people, doesn't mean they're all dark, even among the Freemasons, but we already know the Freemasons are very much a tool of the dark. In fact, it's consciously known that they are of the dark as you go up the ranks. So this is not something that we're telling you, you have to believe us from the level of the 25th. This is something that is known at 3D level. So yeah, no, it's not a movement of the light or started by the light. It does not mean that it cannot be used for good, or that a person would read these things and be completely in alignment with being of the light. So we don't mean to say it's a bad thing the way that we judge bad from a moral perspective here. We just want to say, no, it was not started by somebody on the team of the light. Lorrayne, thank you. Okay, Anna continues about Chico Xavier. I'm not sure how you pronounce this. He spreads messages related to Spiritism. Is he from the light? Is he still here? Me. So none of these people are here anymore. And no, he was not from the dark, but he was definitely leaning toward the dark. He basically was thinking, this is how I advance my career. And he was okay with spreading certain messages. But no, he's been gone. He's been gone for a while now. Lorrayne. Thank you. Okay. Then she would like to know about the new president of Brazil, the guy who came out of prison, and if the protests will increase. Me. So yeah, so the new president, we already said that a lot of these changes in governments are just on the surface in terms of the people who are still of the dark or moving towards the dark. And he belongs to the second group of people. He's in the middle, but leaning toward the dark. We said because a person of light on the team of the light would not go into politics. It's just, we already know, as naive as Clea was, for example, when she joined the bank, she knew that there are things that are neutral that a bank does that can even be helpful, right? When you go into politics, you already know you're going to have to deal with certain things. Even if you naively think it's just going to be that, people are going to try to corrupt me or whatever it is. So he's very well aware that that is the system. And of course, he's already been approached. You don't become president if you haven't basically made deals. And we're laughing. So no, he's not of the light, certainly. And again, he's in the middle, leaning toward the dark. But again, as we said, because we're not supporting extremely dark ideas anymore, things will improve on the ground because he's just refraining with one excuse or the other. He's not giving in and doing the things that we consider evil that were done by the previous administration. And he's saying, well, let's not do that right now because we're being watched. Everything that we are witnessing, all the improvements we're witnessing, or the hiatus in darkness that we're witnessing at 3D level, is being excused with the fact that, well, we just came out of that, let's lie low for a little bit. Now, you've seen other extremes, like already in Oxfordshire, they didn't miss a beat. They're like, oh, 15-minute cities, but yeah, we'll let you live in 2023, but in 2024, we're going to do it. Well, guess what? They made the show because, again, this is just messaging. Right away, the people in Oxford tore down all the pickets and all the things that have been put in place to create these 15-minute cities. These governments are hanging on by a thread, and they're only hanging on because we want to pretend that they're still in place. The vast majority of these governments are NPCs already as we speak. We already said there is a handful of us left here in the entire world. These governments are empty. This is just a show. So therefore, they have no power to do anything unless we allow it, unless we decide that that's what's going to happen. So in Brazil, the same thing is happening. It's a show. They're continuing the show. It's going to look a little better, a lot better than it looked for the last few years, because they're going to think, because it makes sense, it's because the emergency is over. And we know it's because we don't want it anymore. We've gone through this climax and it was very boring already as it happened. We definitely don't want to deal with that before we leave here. And as far as you were asking about the protests, yeah, there will be more protests. But if she's thinking that they're going to physically collapse the government or something like that is going to happen, we already spoke about this when it came to China. We don't want to see a toppling of governments because it's too much drama. So we're not going to see that. However, it's going to justify why things are going to be a little bit easier on the ground, because we're going to think, yeah, the government is under pressure, so they're lying low right now. So it all works together. But not only, we see people protesting and we think, oh, look, people are waking up. So it's all good. It all works to maintain the pretense that we have in place right now. But it's not going to be that the protests cause a change in government. And now, might they have a new person coming in? That's fine, yeah, that could happen. But again, we mean a real change in the government structure. That's not going to happen. We're not going to have anything revolutionary going on. Lorrayne, thank you. Okay, her next question is, what's up with the collective consciousness of Brazil? She has the impression that they are mirroring things in the United States. Me. So yeah, and she probably knows there is no collective consciousness. She means, what is the path of Brazil? What is the vibration of Brazil? Because we already said different countries have different experiences, because really it's a grouping of essences. We don't want to say it's a collective of essences, but it's a group of essences that have incarnated in that place because they want to have that particular experience. So again, you attract each other, or everybody who's attracted to a certain idea moves there, and then you make that idea come through. But yeah, so for Brazil, well, Brazil has a mixed personality in that sense, because they are in South America. So they very much have been, you know, how we think of countries in South America, like they're behind. They are less than, because we love to play this game, that we are better, they're worse, or whatever that looks like. So they are less than, and therefore we are better. And therefore, yes, they do look up to us. Everyone, you know, if you go by the pretense we put on, the show we put on, everybody wants to be like the United States, right? What is the idea of the United States abroad? Is that we're rich, we live a luxury life, which we do in many ways compared to a lot of other countries. There is freedom here, which is the ultimate joke and all of that. So of course there are countries that would want this. Now in reality, we know what's happening behind the scenes, is that of course there are deals, there is deal making going on all the time. So really the United States really is the, and this is the three-letter agency that starts with a C and ends with an A. It might have an I in the middle. So really, it's this government institution through all these arms of the dark that decide how economies do and how countries do. But for that reason, you know, Brazil has put itself in a situation where they do want to be more, but they also are being kept down by direct influence of the United States. Now, the United States has been very influential all over the world, really. But there are places where this is a particularly strong influence, like again in South America, Europe, those kinds of places, for example. In Africa, it's been more the Europeans. Now it's more the Chinese, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what we mean by their, you could call it different areas of influence, okay? Even from a 3D perspective. And so Brazil, in that sense, she's saying, oh, we want to mimic the United States. Truly, that's the only thing you can even do to improve yourself, to have a better lifestyle, quality of life, because the United States is not going to let you just freely pick anything else. And this is obviously how it plays out in 3D. So the path of Brazil has been to be the shadow, to be grouped together with all of South America, at the same time wanting to be different, wanted to be more because, you know, they are bigger. And they were laughing here because it's so funny how we all try to find reasons why we are better than other people. This is the separation game we play, obviously. They have certain resources. And so they do have a very strong personality. They do still maintain a lot of individuality in terms of their culture and so on. They have a lot going for them. But of course, at the same time, they are living in the shadow. In order for them to go anywhere, they're still saying this is the path. But truly, if they were on their own and there was no United States to push them around, they would have so many different options. They're a wonderful country, a wonderful people, again, with a lot of personality. And so it's very interesting to be in that situation. But again, these are at country level, these are the games we played. And we know how institutions have kept different countries in different situations, stuck in different situations. It's enough to look at Africa. We kept Africa frozen. In our quote unquote collective imagination, they are frozen in time. I mean, everything you read about Africa is always the same, always the same. And this is a huge continent, different countries. I mean, how would it even be possible for all of them to be just one way? It makes no sense when you start thinking about it. But this is how we go about things. This is how we judge things here. Lorrayne, thank you. Okay, she has one last question. What is the percentage of essences that still exists in Brazil? Me. They're saying about 25,000. And this, I am recording this on the 22nd of March, but the session was done on February 2nd. So I'm assuming, and they're telling me, yes, there's less now. I was about to say, I'm assuming there's less now. And they're like, yeah. At any rate, it's already very few essences for a country of that size. We know this. We know that there aren't that many of us left. Lorrayne, okay, Holly Blossom asks, what does the 25th say about eclipses? What are they and why do they happen? What is a blood moon? Me, okay, so yeah, so eclipses, we set up this planet to work a certain way. That's why we know that there are a lot of theories about, you know, it's a flat earth. You know, the sun and the moon are not real, whatever the theory is. No, the way we already said from the beginning, the way that we think that it works at 3D level is the way that it works pretty much. And there's not some hidden truth that's been hidden from us in terms of how this planet works. But so the eclipse very much is what we think it is, you know, the overlapping of the sun and the moon with its consequences. So there's nothing really mysterious about it at 3D level. We don't know if she means, would you mind rereading the question? Does she mean what is the meaning behind it? Is there a meaning behind it? Is that what she's looking for? Lorrayne, so she says, why do they happen? Me. Basically, the scientific explanation we have for it, it pretty much is why they happen. There is no behind the scenes reason for that happening, if that's what she's trying to get at. And we just decided that it would be this way. There would be a neat thing to have it this way because we love it. Don't we love the idea of an eclipse? It feels special. It feels celestial. It feels like it's something magic that happens. And it's also the same concept behind the blood moon. We did not have to set it up this way. This is not how the world works, quote unquote, meaning as in this is how it has to work. It's just the way it is. We set this up to work this way because we thought this is neat. We didn't have to set up planet Earth the way it is. It could have been a cube if we thought it made sense. And we think nothing of it. We think all planets are cubes, and that's how they're supposed to be. We just set it up this way because we think it's cool. That's all. Lorrayne, I wonder if she was wondering about the spiritual connotations based on the New Age stuff we've been told about. Me. Yeah, and that's possible. And good point. You're making a good point, Lorrayne. And we do want to answer in case that's what she meant in her question. We said before that really there is no connection between behavior, the behavior of a person, and any celestial bodies. However, many, including Claire, she used to believe in astrology. I mean, she never was very knowledgeable about it, but she used to think, yeah, why not? So it's perfectly fine. There is no judgment. You want to believe, believe. You don't want to believe, it's all the same. We said the essence is free. So you could have people that think that they are being affected by the moon, and therefore a blood moon will affect them differently. And you can have a bunch of people that don't believe in it, and they will not be affected. If you are affected, it's not because the moon is affecting you. It's because you believe that the moon is affecting you. It's a trigger. And therefore, you will behave differently. So you can tell yourself, oh, I was affected by the moon. No, really, it was you who wanted to explore something different, experience something different, and pretend that it was the moon. We talked about this in connection with crystals. We talked about this in connection with everything, really, that we use outside triggers to justify the things we are doing and the results we are getting in life. And that's perfectly fine. And we already said the reason we set this up is because we thought it was actually pretty nifty to have these celestial bodies do stuff for us. show like. And so that's okay. But no, if she's asking, is this really what happens? And so the blood moon has a meaning or does things? No, there is absolutely no difference between the blood moon, a regular moon during non-eclipse. Really, nothing matters. It's just the moon. And no, the essence can always do whatever it wants. And you can believe in these things or not. It's all the same. All right, well, thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Holly, for the question. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Take care, bye-bye.